Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. All right, there we go. Hold on. I think we are in. There we go. Everything that could go wrong this morning was going wrong this morning. I'm going to give my brother an opportunity to give him a proper introduction. So I'm going to pop him out real quick. Good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. Thank everyone that came out last night for the and watched the Black Java recording. That's why we're dealing with technical difficulties. We had to reset everything here in the home studio. So today is Juneteenth. And for about the next 25 minutes or so, we're going to talk with two folks that are here in Boston this evening for a great event that the Emancipator has been advertising here on the Java with Jimmy platform. And so before I bring my guests in, we're going to just run that commercial real quick, and we'll bring them right back with you. Give us a couple of seconds, and we'll be right back.
What are you doing for Juneteenth? What you should do is join us for Historically Black Phrases Live. It's a trivia show based off the best-selling book by Jarrett and Tre'vell Anderson. And they'll be here in Boston on Wednesday, June 19th with the Emancipator and some special guests. Join us on Juneteenth at WBUR CitySpace for laughs, culture, and an overall good time. We'll have amazing guests such as Gullah scholar Sunn, influencer Claudiane Philippe, and Boston's Poet Laureate, Porsha Olayiwola. Get your tickets now before they're sold out.
So that's what's going on this evening. After the cookouts and after turning up and everything, go over to CitySpace and check out this wonderful event. And so I'm going to bring in my guests right now. They are here getting ready. I'm sure they want to celebrate somewhat before they go on stage tonight. So I would like to first introduce Tre'vell. They are with us, and I believe one of the authors as well, and also Jarrett this morning. And so I'm glad to have both of you here. I heard you guys traveled yesterday and got in, and welcome to Boston in the middle of a heat wave. Oh, and I just need to say welcome to the city of champions.
Yes. Okay, city of champions.
Yes.
I
heard that there was a little game or something that might have happened, and y'all might have done well from what I...
You're not going to do. I'm just meeting you, brother Jarrett. You're not going to do me. Because, you know, we're very serious. I'm a member of this group here called Boston While Black. And a migrant kind of made a joke, oh, I'm still with the Mavericks or whatever. And it literally took like 2 seconds to say, okay, are you really going to give that typical Boston sports energy? And I'm like, nah, just, you know, we won or whatever. But welcome to the Java Cafe. I'm excited to have both of you here. You are in this city during a very interesting time of celebration. We understand that there are two Black men that were at the helm of making that happen, two brothers. And so we want to celebrate them and everybody over there. But we want to celebrate both of you because you all, Jarrett, you all did well with a little something. And hope to do well tonight. Just a little bit of shade, just a little bit.
We're very happy to be here. We're excited. You know, it's 6 o'clock in the morning in my body.
Okay, yeah.
Coming from California, we're really happy to be here with you this morning.
I am so excited. And so, Tre'vell, you're first on the screen. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and describe Black phrases historically.
Yeah, so Tre'vell Anderson, I use they, them pronouns. I am a journalist, a podcaster. I got like 12 jobs, you know what I mean? And one of those jobs is being co-author of Historically Black Phrases and host of Historically Black Phrases Live with Jarrett. And Historically Black Phrases is just a dictionary, right, that we came up with of these phrases that we've all heard as Black folks growing up, that we put some definitions to. We have some essays in the book about how we as Black folks uniquely discuss language, and we've taken all of that and created this, game show that we'll talk a little bit more about later, that we're doing tonight here in Boston.
Okay, Jarrett, welcome.
Thank you. Should I go? Should I do the same?
Yeah, please introduce yourself and also give us, and Tre'vell, you didn't give us the one word that describes Black phrases. One word.
Okay. And
then we'll get it from Tre'vell after yours. Go ahead, Jarrett.
Yes. So I am Jarrett Hill. I have 11 and a half jobs. So journalist, author, all of the things, but also co-author of Historically Black Phrases and host of Historically Black Phrases Live as well. I'm from California. I would say the thing that I'm thinking about Black phrases is diverse, right? Like something that we talk about often is how like all of these different things that we say, they all move in different ways. We play them in different ways. We inflect them in different ways and all those different things. And so that's the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that.
Diverse. All right, Tre'vell, I'm going to throw back to you and get your word. And then I want both of you to just chat and maybe reminisce to when did you come together to write the book? And then after the book, like, let's turn this into a traveling mobile game show.
My word, I'm just going to say legacy. That's my word for Black phrases. We'll dive into that later.
We can dive into that right now. What is the context of why you say legacy?
Well, I mean, and this actually goes to part of the reason why we wrote the book. But, I think that many of us have grown up as Black folks being told that the way we naturally speak, okay, to Cousin Pookie Nim, to our parents, to whomever, is like not professional, not appropriate, not the way, right, we are supposed to carry ourselves. However, there's so much history and legacy in how we speak, even though they call it broken English, even though they call it all this other stuff, right? There's so much of our story and stories in how we speak. So that's why I say legacy in particular. I think this book has been a process of us trying to not necessarily reclaim, but like reassert that like the ways that we naturally speak, the phrases that we use and the ways we use them are important in and of themselves, not just because they're on a t-shirt at Forever 21. You know what I mean? I hope they're not advertising on the show.
Yeah, they're not, and they could, even if they were. They understand this. Y'all, this ain't no After Java with Jimmy After Dark. Y'all not about to get me in trouble real quick. And so, Tre'vell, that's a good lead into, Jarrett, your word, diversity, because the legacy displays itself in different parts of the country, different ways. I mean, we're up north. We probably
that head scratch.
We up north.
that head scratch was a historically Black gesture. Amen. That.
We know what you mean. Keep going.
Right.
Y'all are not going to do me this morning. And so I'm trying to be serious, talk about legacy and diversity, but I had the thought in real time. So I'm going to say it. Up north is probably where we probably have to concentrate on keeping the legacy alive. Because Jarrett, as you said, it's the legacy, Tre'vell, displays itself regionally different. Black phrases is not just confined to America and Western culture. And so the diversity there, Jarrett, go a little bit deeper in the context of diversity and also speak to what Tre'vell, what they said about legacy.
Yeah. So one of the things that's been interesting, Tre'vell and I, we started working together as president and vice president of the National Association of Black Journalists in Los Angeles. And that experience at NABJ has been an interesting one because we engage with other Black journalists from everywhere around this country and even, Black journalists from other countries as well. And so it's been an interesting experience to start to see the Black experience in so many different places around the country, and how that Black experience is diverse, right? And how that legacy comes from so many different places and shows up in so many different kinds of ways, but also has so many similarities as well, right? And so we've been fascinated to talk with people who live in places where there's a dense Black population, right? Where there's a huge Black community, where they've grown up with, Black folks in Black culture every day, but then also Black folks who grew up as the Black person where they grew up, right? Where they were the Black people, right? Or their family was the Black family, and they didn't have as many touch points and as much exposure to Black culture, but they knew this phrase. Oh, but my mama still said that. Right. Or my grandmother must have came from such and such because, right. And that great migration is very real, right? As we talk about the North and and being on the West Coast and all the different places. And so the diversity of the Black experience is something that we've also wanted to celebrate in this book, because it's something that we can point out and say, like, oh, that is particularly Southern. Oh, that is particularly Northern. Oh, that's country.
They don't say Northern that much, but go ahead.
Well, but in the book we've got Philadelphia, we've got John, right? Because that comes from Philadelphia. We've got some dead ass and mad and things like that, where we see like various different kinds of language.
What do you have from Massachusetts? What do you have from Massachusetts in the book?
I'm trying to think. I don't have like a Black Boston language that I can think of. Jimmy.
Boston has its own in itself, and then Black with them. Oh Jesus, this is
what's Black Boston language? What would the top term be?
So you talk about legacy. I remember on Dead Dogs.
Dead Dogs. First of all.
On Dead Dogs means like 10 toes down.
Okay. So in the book, we do have, we have on insert here, right? Because it might be on Dead Dogs, but it also might be on my mama, on my best friend. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tre'vell, within presumably our community, there's even a different, more of a subset. With the let me think a little bit. Shady Boots.
You got reading.
That's I hope that's a universal given now. Jesus, I would think.
You would think, right? You're so right, though, right? So many of the phrases that we even consider to be general language actually came from Black folks. And even more so came from Black, queer, and trans people specifically, like shade, like reading, like tea, like snatched, like, when you see a woman whose makeup is done well and you hear somebody say, oh, she's beat for the gods. Yeah. That's all specifically Black, queer, and trans language that developed in Black, queer, and trans communities, right? That became popular, right, in broader Black community. And then as is, our culture, as our culture does, we influence the globe from there on out. And so it's really interesting. We have an essay in the book called A Lifeblood in and of Itself, in which we interviewed a variety of folks about that specific relationship from the Black, queer, and trans community to our broader Black language. And you find, right, once you take a step back, you begin to realize that, like, Black, queer, and trans communities, as well as, the broader Black community, have been very integral in how kind of linguistics and language and culture more broadly has really evolved over time.
I mean, the universal influence is amazing. We can't have this conversation without talking about the influence of hip hop, or how linguistics, let's keep it 100 because it's rapping, that one of the 5 elements, that it has a huge influence on the entire world. You can go, instead of we talk about Mass, you can go in certain parts of Massachusetts where there aren't a lot of folks that look like us, but because some young people, want to be quote unquote cool, down, hip. They're using the vernacular. And so, Jarrett, I'm going to throw it to you. there's the influence of the gay, queer, and trans community in the greater Black community. Then there's greater Black community in the influence of. And one thing I sat here and thought about in real time, our Native brothers and sisters have often named that due to assimilation and different things, that languages have started to the density of the speaking and understanding of the language in some tribes and in other cultures begin to dissipate. And so that legacy, Tre'vell, and then diversity, Jarrett, talk about the legacy, Jarrett, of what we have to be sure through our stories and through words, because there's so much fighting on Black stories. That I'm sorry, I did a show called Black Java last night, and go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's an important thing. In the book, we talk about the way that our legacy has many different influences. So we talk about the queer and trans influence that, and I love the way that you put this, the way that influences Black culture and then goes out and influences larger culture, right? We talk about the way that the Black church has influenced Black language, right? The ways that I believe it's 95 to 97% of Black people at least believe in God, whether or not they're in church, right? And like, whether or not you're in church, you may have had an older person raising you that had some church background or was influenced by church themselves. Or those different kinds of things, and how that starts to influence the way that we talk out in the world, right? We might respond with amen right in the middle of a conversation, or speak on it, or whatever it is, right? And that starts to,
and not even just in church.
Exactly, right?
Go ahead, Jared.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. And so, like, in the middle of conversation, whether you're at church or if you're, at work or with friends or something, you might throw in a phrase, and then that goes out and influences the larger culture as well. And then we'll see our phrases in commercials or in museums or on television shows or what have you. And that even starts to kind of expand the way that people think about it. And I think one of the other things that's been interesting as we talk about it from a linguistic perspective is, one, Tre'vell has a book that came out called We See Each Other, a Black trans journey through TV and film. And one of the things that they talk about in the book is how transness, we've gotten to see images of trans people a lot in reality television, right? In ways that we didn't necessarily see it in scripted. And in unscripted shows, we've gotten to see like real people's experiences, whether it's America's Next Top Model or other places that we've gotten to kind of see the way that those stories get told. But then also we get to see the way that those stories get told in social media, right? One of the interesting things that came up in our conversations, we interviewed a Black linguist over at Stanford, and she talked to us about the ways that social media has included in a lot more language, because we get to see how someone might spell that, right? Or how someone might put that into a tweet or into a post or what have you. And then get to expand that. That was something that we had a lot of like, well, how would you spell that word, or how would we inflect that with language, or be able to put that on the page? And so it's been an interesting kind of thing to explore with this book and with the show.
We have notes here, and we went through sort of the academic Black approach to our history, our legacy, and diversity. I want to ask both of you, Jarrett, I'll start with you in this segment. What is the most memorable moment? So you all have the book, and then maybe I'll back up a little bit. How did the book go from a book to now this national tour of a game show? And I hope to see y'all on TV soon, and not just on BET. And
maybe
I'll take BET. I will take BET.
We'll take BET, but that's you know what I mean when I say that.
I do know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
I would say the game show actually is born out of us having a podcast. Y'all two, right?
We're going to behave. Jarrett, go ahead.
Look, I ain't come here to behave now. Like, let's be honest. Like,
let's go. Since you up 6 o'clock in your mind in the morning.
Listen, okay. No, but like when we think about this, the game show actually was kind of born out of our podcast, to be honest. We hosted a podcast for 4 years called Fanti, which was about the things that you're a fan of, but also have some anti-feelings about, or the things that you love, but that might also be a little bit problematic, right? And so we kind of would talk about the things those various different kinds of things. And we never really got to do live shows in the way that we wanted to because a little pandemic started 6 weeks after our show launched. And so we did 4 years of that show, and we were like, we are really great in front of a live audience. And so we wanted to figure out how to translate the book into a live experience, and started really developing this game show around the book that we created. And so that's really how we got started. And then in February for Black History Month, we went on tour and did the game show in various different cities. And it was exciting to kind of get to be with a live audience and see all the joy and the fun and people up out of their seats and, singing songs and responding to the stage and all that, which, it feels particularly Black, right? When we're out doing the show, it's been something great to kind of see, as we talk about like church influence, for instance, the way there's a bit of a call and a response, right, to the stage. Yep. And we tell people like, no, this is not a game show for you to sit back and just kind of be in your seat. We want to hear from y'all. We want your feedback. We want you to be engaged. There's some things for y'all to win as well, right? You don't have to be on stage to be a part of the game. So in that way, we've been kind of enjoying the Blackness showing up in a natural way on the show.
Tre'vell, what was the first time when you got on stage with Jarrett to do this? What was the first show like?
Oh, wow. Okay, so our first show was in DC. We were working with the public library in DC.
Our first show was in LA.
That's a lie. I lied. You're right. Yes, you're right. Oh,
we got generations.
Listen, I'm old, Jimmy, and I forget stuff.
You ain't older than me, so I'm 52.
And ain't older than me either. So
I am spiritually 65. But our very first show, as Jarrett mentioned, we were in LA. We basically had like the vision for the game show, like Jarrett said, and we were like, we should get some friends, family together to try to play it out. And so we did it at this Black-owned wines bar in LA called 1010 Wines and Events. And I think what we realized, just having friends and family around us for that very first show, was that, we onto something. We got something here, just in terms of like taking these various cultural touchstones that many of us have as Black people and putting them into the game. We tell all of our contestants that, like, this is not a game where you need to study. Like, you've been preparing for this game show your entire life, okay? Just moving through the world. If you know that, for example, let's see, Gabrielle Union starred in a cheerleading movie called Bring It On, and she was on the Compton Clovers. If you know that, you'll be good with our show. If you know that there's Big Luther and Lil Luther, you'll be good for our show.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? If you know that
when I say God is good
all the time, and all the time,
God is good. You might be ready. You might be ready, right?
Various different things, and we've taken those and we basically kind of mashed up, Jeopardy with a little bit of Password, with a little bit of, Taboo, with a little, we just, as Black people do, we take something, remix it,
and make it better.
You said it, not me. Okay?
And make it better. So I'm just going to leave that right there. Jarrett, your first time hosting and doing this, what was that experience like for you? Maybe outside of LA, and when you took it beyond friends and family and went into the unknown world, because also we got some praises that will let you know when we're not rocking with you. Which one? Somebody say, how was the show? If they go, or if they give you there's some phrases within our community that are unspoken.
Yes. Well, so when we went on tour, when we started the tour, we started in DC at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library there, and it was our first time with this version of the show, kind of in the full scale. And we have in the show, we have church fans with our faces on them. On one side, they say, "Hey," and on the other side, it says, "Nah," right? Where the audience is able to vote on different things. And that show, when we first got started, being able to kind of see the audience responding to us, it was oh, I think this is gonna work, right? We've taken it outside of friends and family. We've kind of expanded it beyond where we kind of started it out. because our very first iteration of this was doing like a Black Jeopardy event at Reparations Club, which is a bookstore in Inglewood. And like, it was exciting to kind of like play around with it and like see people respond to music or see people respond to certain questions or finish things out loud and call in response. And so it was exciting to kind of get to see people's response to that and how they were excited by it. But also, after the show was over, for people to talk about how much fun they had with it, but how much joy there was in it, how much community there was in it, and how familiar it felt. And those were the kinds of things that were really, really exciting to kind of like, oh, I think this is gonna work.
Tre'vell, I seen, and I have to just acknowledge that you are a podcaster just by the fact that when you're not talking, I see you mute, and then sometimes we have guests and there's a whole bunch of race cars and everything, and if you hit mute, you think it's crazy. That's not the case with you, but I'm sitting here noticing. So your mic came on. I was like, Tre'vell, they got something to say.
Got something to say.
Listen, I always got something to add, okay? But yeah, it really is the type of experience. I like to tell people that, when we start the show, we like to say that Historically Black Phrases Live, we're not the type of space where we want to revoke your Black card. You may not know anything that we just listed in terms of those cultural touchstones. Well,
if you don't know one, I don't have my coffee here to take a sip. Go ahead.
Well, Jimmy might take your Black card, okay, but we will not take your Black card. If you happen
his Black card, I'm just like, if you don't know one, I am going to look at you and here goes one of the phrases that we don't say, but we do. If you don't know one, you're going to get the.
Absolutely. Everybody's looking at you with the side eye. That means, oh, are you sure you Black? But what we really want Historically Black Phrases Live to be is one of those spaces where no matter your level of engagement with Blackness, whether that is just kind of a cursory, like Jarrett said, you the Black person in your city and you comfortable being the Black friend, cool. But also, if you got 12 Black friends around you and all of y'all want to come have a good time too, we're super excited for that as well. So the show tonight, we've got a reception portion as part of it. So you get a little food, a little drink as well, and then you have a good time with us and our three contestants, Porsha, Claudiane, and Sunn. I think it's going to be a really, really great show. And it's our first show this summer outside of the tour that we were doing for Black History Month.
I will also say, like, we've had in our first show, we're talking about DC, one of our contestants was not doing well in the show, right? She was not killing it. She was missing a lot of the game. But, like, it was also great to see the audience start to rally behind her, right?
Yeah,
and, like, it started to be fun. Yeah, like, the community part showed up, right? In the way that they supported her. And it was a lot of fun. Also, just kind of, like, enjoying that dynamic as well.
Do both of you see what you're doing in increasing Black joy in perpetuating a legacy of our influence linguistically? Do you see what you're doing? Our Congresswoman, who's from Mass 7th here, friend and sister, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Y'all should have got her on as a contestant. Oh, you know what a new Black phrase is going to be? Speaking about Congress and whatnot.
Is it? Bad bill. What is it?
Bad bill. Yeah.
Butch body.
But listen, here goes another thing in our linguistics. We may not know the whole thing, but all three of us just by art.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, but okay. So how did I get on the I got way off there. Ayanna, she talks about that our Black joy is a form of resistance. We talk to academics, we talk the fun and the show. I just wanted to let folks know that thank you, Anissa. Right there in the comments is the hyperlink. You can leave the show for 2 minutes, go get your tickets and come back. Or you can wait till the show's over, scroll the comments and go get your tickets. But either way, get your tickets. She talks about our Black joy being a form of resistance. Agree? Disagree?
Absolutely. So Tre'vell and I are journalists first, right? We've been journalists for a long time, and I'm a professor of journalism at USC. I'm moving here moving here from Los Angeles to Boston to be a student at Harvard this fall, and so like I'll be at Harvard Divinity, and like we love the academia and the coverage of stories, and like really the way.
You're a preacher? Huh? You're a preacher?
No, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher. Well, y'all keep trying to put that on me. The Lord, that's not what we talking about, Jimmy. Okay, I need you to focus.
Are you called yes or no? And then did you have to take it out of the traditional pulpit and four walls and minister in a different way?
Well,
amen. Hallelujah.
What we found here is like being so engaged in the news and being engaged in academia and like
all that. He pivoted right back. He pivoted right back.
I'm coming back.
You want two journalists.
I'm coming back to your point.
Go ahead.
We found that like, yes, there's a lot of weighty things to cover. There are a lot of parts of our story that are difficult and not as fun to engage, right? And like we've covered those stories for so long and still continue to cover them in many different kinds of ways. But we've also found that the joy has been so important as well, right? And like being able to get together and laugh and commune and be able to find the things that we have in common, the shared experiences that we have, that is also something that's really, really important. It's just as important as reminding people to vote and being engaged in the process and getting people to know their history and all of those different things as we see that being erased. And so absolutely, we've seen it as a really valuable part of what we're doing.
I just add really quickly. I just want to add really quickly. You know, one of the beautiful parts is we have seen, as we've taken this show elsewhere, we've had people come up to us and say, you know what, I just really needed to be in a space with primarily Black folks and we just having a good time, you know, to that point of Black joy, to that point of like pushing back against, you know, because we dealing with a whole lot of stuff out there, you know, in this world. And so tonight on Juneteenth, why not be in a space with, you know, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, be in a space with other Black people who are just having a good time, you know, with ourselves, centering that joy as a form of resistance for sure.
I really enjoyed this time. This is why I can't believe it's 9:37 already. You all definitely gave me some joy this morning to start off my Juneteenth. Jarrett, please keep in touch because there's a group up here, as I mentioned, called Boston While Black. And you coming into the city at Harvard, you need to be a part of Boston While Black because it's a community that when migrants come, Boston sometimes can be an interesting place for y'all, you know.
I've been told by every Black person that I tell that I'm moving to Boston.
What they say?
Oh no, they'll be like, oh, Harvard. Well, you know, Boston is real racist, and I'll be like, okay, thank you. I've heard. Someone has told me.
There are while we got national folks on the platform and their folks and networks are watching. There are Black folks in Boston. We have a thriving Black community in Boston, and as much as we have a canyon of improvement to do in making sure that allies and whatnot give us our space. Oh, there is a rich Black culture here that is ridiculous. We now have went from 3 or 4 spots for Black folks to go where folks got to make choices to where they're going to go and support Black owned businesses. And so there is a Jarrett. Please keep in touch. Tre'vell, anytime you come and stick around. I'm kind of recovering from a couple of things. So I'm chilling and following the doctor's advice and staying. I'm missing so much. I missed the cookout. There's a whole bunch of bus up shot and stuff I'm missing tonight and some curry chicken, but health is wealth.
But you can send us a link though. I mean, because we're going to be outside.
Here goes another one of those unspoken ones when you know you can't we just start looking around and because we know we can't. All right. I want to end, first of all, with thank you, Tre'vell, for going back and just reminding us. I love how you went back to the marketing. Listen, folks, the link is right there. Go in the comments. And I hope Amber doesn't get me for this. She had said I could get 2 complimentary tickets. I wonder what I could do real quick to send Amber a name and those folks could come tonight and take advantage of those 2 tickets.
Absolutely.
If you want to, go ahead.
I will say for the easiest way to find all our tickets, go to historicallyblackphrases.com/live. We've got tickets. We've got the link to be able to get your tickets to come to WBUR. If you're here in Boston, you're familiar with WBUR CitySpace is where we'll be. So it's on their website as well. There's plenty of different places to connect for Historically Black Phrases Live tonight.
Okay. I really want to also side note, and just in this conversation, to hear the 2 of you refer to being Black journalists a few times here. I'm not a journalist. I'll be media when I can drop stuff. Like the governor dropped something yesterday. The mayor dropped something last week. So when it drops, I'll be media. But I want to applaud and really appreciate both of you, because just in this conversation, seeing you 2 as journalists, though I don't want to be in that space, it's encouraging to just know that there are other folks out there that, and I know that they are. You all just encouraged me today, just being here with me with the Black Joy and just hearing you talk about the journalism. It just gives me some hope as I'm recalibrating and crafting how we increase telling our Black stories, telling our excellence, talking about our culture, and emphasizing our joy. Just want to read a comment from Instagram. I came from Chris. I've been in Boston area for 7 years, and folks down south asked me the same thing. Is it Black folks in Boston? And he said also, now after being here 7 years, Black Boston is a beautiful and thriving, and I'm loving it. And so, Jarrett, exhale about the transition. It'll be good. I mean, you're up at Harvard, up in Cambridge, Harvard. No, so I pronounce my R's. I don't know about the other folks here in Boston.
Unique?
Huh?
Unique.
Because I'm not going to get in trouble, mess with my own city, but we did some. Yeah, I'll just say that one of our local politicians was on a national show one day, and everybody else was talking, and then a local politician opened his mouth on CNN, and when I tell you I cringed, I said, "Is it really? It's interesting up here, that accent." And so, anyway, thank you for listening to my dissertation. I want you 2 to close out whichever way you want and leave us with some Black joy, a story, a joke. Floor is yours.
I always reference when people ask, like, what is my favorite phrase? There's a story from my aunt that always brings me joy as I think about it. One of the phrases in the book is "the devil is a lie," and in our church chapter. And I always tell the story of my aunt had gotten some white leather couches in her house. And if your auntie has ever gotten white leather couches in her house, you know she's not playing games
at all.
Okay. And she had a friend came over with their child, and they were talking, and my aunt walks out and goes into the kitchen and comes back into the living room and sees the child jumping up and down with their shoes on the white couch. And her instinct was to say, "Oh, the devil is a lie."
Even though the devil wasn't lying, that is our thing, that when it's real, it's not real. Is there a chapter? I know I said I was going to let y'all go. Is there a chapter in the book that is sort of a lexicon for our allies?
No, because we don't talk to the allies for this book. No shade. It is no shade. We have a line in the introduction in the book because we knew that, I'll say it this way. One of the things that folks have responded in terms of seeing our fabulous looking book on the shelf is they're like, "Oh, wow, like y'all are giving away the secrets, and you gonna let white people,
know the code. Know the code.
Know the code, okay?" Let white people know the code. And one of the things that we often say is that, well, white people gonna white people. Okay, so they gonna do what they want to do regardless. For us, this book, this game show is about us focusing on us, right? And so we don't give no kind of information or no kind of how-to the white folks or the other non-Black folks who might want to, jump into the jiggy jungle with us. But we do like to say, You know, just like, for example, saying whether you say the N-word or don't say the N-word, you can say it, but there are consequences and repercussions on the other end
You
of
better
that.
ask Gretchen from Baddies Caribbean. Did you see? Do you follow Tre'vell, Jarrett?
I'm nervous about whatever just happened. I feel like something just happened that I stepped into, and I don't know what that means.
Baddies Caribbean. There's this sister who's of Latina descent, but she presents not so. And so she drops the N-word like crazy, and Natalie Nunn and all them other. So my guilty pleasure is once in a while I like ratchet TV.
I love this, Jimmy. I would not have assumed that you were watching Bad Girls or Baddies, whatever they call it over there on the Zeus.
And I have a membership to Zeus or whatever it is.
Oh, Jimmy, you just told me so much about you right now. Jimmy said I have a Zeus subscription. I know what this is.
And I need Natalie to put out more content because they left us at 4 episodes of Rolly being transformed and all. Anyway, this is what we do also in our linguistics. We will go off in 50 different tangents. I got to bring Tre'vell back. And Jarrett, as a journalist, thank you for guiding me back. Tre'vell, what is your favorite phrase in the book?
My favorite phrase in the book, it's a phrase that my granny used to say. I think we mentioned this earlier. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina originally. Jarrett's from the Bay Area. So we've kind of got a difference in experience when it comes to our language. And for me, my favorite phrase in the book is something my granny used to say. No one in the world has ever heard of this except Jason Johnson. And the phrase is, you stood a rooster, don't crow no more.
Jimmy, you ain't heard that.
No, I was thinking rooter to the tutor. It just sounded.
It's probably the cousin of rooter to the tutor. Listen,
they said it's a cousin.
Listen, it's the cousin of rooter to the tutor, I imagine. But used to the rooster don't crow no more is basically a phrase that my granny used to say when she would tell people that something we used to do, we just don't do it anymore. You know, it's real simple, real straightforward. But I love that, like with Jarrett's example, with my example, we were able to take these phrases that like our literal own family, right, used as we were growing up and put them into the book to bring it back to the legacy of it all, right? That's one way that we are able to extend the particular legacy of what has happened in our specific families. And so, though nobody has ever heard of "You stood a rooster, don't crow no more," it is now in a book. Historical phrases.
I bet you I'm gonna incorporate it somewhere. Can I ask y'all one question about one phrase if you all did any research on? And y'all tell me, there's a private chat there. Give me, James, Jimmy, you got 1 minute left because I'll talk to y'all all day. What is this thing that we say when we go to the funeral? What is that statement that we all say? Who
did the body?
Who did the body? And come on, Jarrett. Tre'vell got the first one.
Well, I'm thinking about the repast and the food, so I want to know who made the potato salad. But
no, that's at the funeral, that's at the cookout, that's at Thanksgiving, that's everything. There's 2 statements when it comes. I say funeral like that because there's this black preacher that he couldn't say funeral. And my daughter Safari's in here, and I think she knows who this preacher is, and she's finding out that her dad watches Zeus. And you got a membership to Now That's TV. Who did the body? And come on, Jarrett. What's the other one? Come on, Jarrett. We about to downgrade your platinum to gold.
You see how they'll do? You see how they do? You see how you people are?
Was that a light-skinned microaggression?
Absolutely. I'm light-skinned and freckled. Are you kidding me? Like, what did you think this was? Like,
I know my neighbors are like, what in the hell is going on downstairs? All right, come on, but Jack, we ain't letting you off the hook. What is
the other one that you're thinking about?
Who did the body? And it's 3 words. Come on in the comments. We're going to do a Black Phrases show, mini show right here. There are 3 words. The first question the first thing that they say is who did the body? And then when they find out who did the body, what is the next thing that people say?
The thing I'm thinking about is when they look like themselves. Like, oh, she looked like herself.
Okay, it translates differently in the Bay. They look good.
Oh, they look good. Yeah.
That's if they look good.
Okay, well now hold on.
Depending on who did the body. Amen. You see.
All right, y'all need to rest and get ready. And I done got a little. My stomach is sore because I've been laughing up here so hard. This was really good to start Juneteenth. The culture, both of you, really, I think the three of us encapsulate a lot of the representation of our Black community and the diversity in it, and the joy in it, and our contributions in many, many ways. I hope that this morning that folks that are watching, that we contributed to some Black joy. And also, do not forget that you can go and get your tickets. Right now, this link is hyping here, but someone put, the book, Crystal Medlin. Thank you to go get the book as well. And also someone put a different link. Crystal's just, is this y'all publisher?
Crystal from the Emancipator. Yes. Oh,
from the Emancipator. Okay. Hi. I need to have my other glasses on, so I can't see the.
That's all right.
The thumbnails. Okay. So
we all have corrected vision up in here, so we all got the glasses on.
Oh, you know what? I just really realized that y'all are. I'm gonna have to pray my strength. And see if I get a second win.
Come on, pray your strength. Amen.
Probably doubt it. Oh God, y'all got to come back. Y'all have to come back, because I would love to just chat with you about the phrases, and just, there are just so many that it just, and again, regionally, Jarrett, I think you coming here, y'all probably going to get together and write a second edition or the Boston edition, because we have an unspoken, like, you're cool if you throw the threes up, like that's a thing. Dead dogs. There was this whole thing the other day where folks had did a Boston vernacular. If I find it, I'll send it to you. But please, when you migrate here, please keep in touch. Amber can connect us. Any way I can be supportive, connect you with Boston While Black. Tre'vell, if I don't get the chance to meet you, hopefully you'll be back again soon. A couple of big farmers reached out for some stuff, and when Big Farmer reaches out, you can do some different things. And so we may have to figure out how to, while Jarrett's here, just, I don't know, maybe if you're on the East Coast,
I can figure something out. Okay, Jimmy, just let me know.
Oh, I appreciate the invitation. I will definitely be reaching out to you. I'm excited to become a part of this Black Boston community, and to meet as many folks and be as useful in community here as I can. So thank you.
We just got a new Black woman president at Boston University, and just it is amazing. We have a whole y'all might say, well, everybody's doing that. We have reparations task force up here, and the first woman elected mayor here of color. And so there's a lot. And then we got our wonderful Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. So you'll be in good company when you get here. And Tre'vell, we'll figure out a way. We don't want to leave you.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
I wasn't being favorable toward Tre'vell. Tre'vell and I have it online, but you'll be here. So we're not ganging up on you now. It's me and you get in Boston.
I appreciate the inclusion, the welcome. Thank you. What?
I just want to show you one thing that I have the ability to do. So Tre'vell,
wow. Wow. The erasure.
You ain't right. You ain't right.
All right, now he done told me I was inclusive and then erased him.
Inclusive erasure. I don't know what that means, but we'll make that into something.
Oh, trust me. Some of them folks out there, Lighted, and you and I are practicing that inclusive erasure. I'm not even going. We'll be here another hour. Tre'vell and Jarrett, get off my screen here. I appreciate y'all and strength and joy your way. I hope that doors and opportunities open that you all didn't expect. I hope that there's an invitation to the White House. I hope that there is, ironically so. I hope that there is more than. I love BET, and we should definitely. Well, they're owned by Viacom now, but. We should definitely.
For a little longer. That's a whole other show. Here's Amber. Hold on. And can you also head to the Emancipator for tickets? So y'all are here.
We hear y'all up. Okay.
Yes.
Y'all got options to get tickets. So you have the Amber's like, okay, go to the Emancipator and get your tickets too.
Emancipator, we got links for you.
You got That's what we do.
We meet people where they at, okay? Whichever website you want to go to, you can go to to get. Now, can I just let the people know, because I know we wrapping up now. We will not be on CP time tonight. Okay, I know it's a Juneteenth event.
Amen. Amen.
But I just want to let my people know. Okay, it says 7 o'clock on the ticket. Okay. Lord.
You said not on CP time, so that's one thing you won't get. That in itself, just when you said that, there was a whole dissertation in my head about showing up on time, don't come in late while you're on the stage. If you had too much libations, don't come stumbling in. And if you were the grill master, at least shower and change your clothes before you come to CitySpace tonight. And if grandma isn't able to watch Pookie and Kiki, I don't think you want to bring them to the show together with their iPad.
Okay. First of all, if you were the grill master at the cookout, first of all, I'm not mad if you come in smelling like ribs. Now, I might be hungry, but I won't be mad.
Bring some with you. Bring some
with you. Don't come in smelling like ribs without a plate, though. Amen.
Y'all have been so good for me, not just today in Juneteenth, but just this is really going to influence the middle of the week. It's going to influence the rest of my week. It's been an interesting week so far. And so you all have really personally been an inspiration and encouragement to me. And so this Amber, thank you. Because I was just going to skip. It's a holiday. I'm taking a day off. And when Amber reached out, I said, what? I said, if they're available, bring them on Juneteenth. It's so apropos. And so
thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And if you got other things out there, or if you all do an article or whatever, please include me, tag me on social media, and let me know, because I would love to support and help you guys out. And Jarrett, I look forward to breaking bread and supporting you any way I can when you're here. Tre'vell, if there's anything I can do, just let me know, and I would be glad to support and do anything I can do. You all have, or Amber does, she can connect you with Anissa or me directly, and I got you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
Thank you. I appreciate both of y'all. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Listen, folks, that was one of my most entertaining, fun, Black Joy interviews that I've done in 4 years. That was amazing. And it's so great to see so many of you in here that are off for the holiday. And Amber said that she's on her way. Yo, they were really good, and they were very inspiring this morning. So we were glad to have them here. Amber, again, thanks for that opportunity. All right, folks, that's it for me. Today's Wednesday. We do have a guest tomorrow. We have someone coming tomorrow that has moved in the world of philanthropy and nonprofit and funding and supporting nonprofits fiscally, financially. And so they'll be with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Today seems like a Friday, y'all. I'm like, today's my Thursday. I ain't got to come back tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow. And again, if you did not watch Black Java last night, go and watch it. Those brothers, it was a very, very, very good conversation about their experience in the industry and whatnot. And so this is what we do in the Java Cafe. We celebrate Black culture. We celebrate Black excellence. We acknowledge the struggle, but we also tell our stories where we champion and have testimonies and whatnot. And so that's what we do here in the Java Cafe. And so I'm off of here. Yes, Miss Teresa. It is good to see Miss Teresa in the room. Excuse me, everyone. Please keep her in your prayers. And I don't want y'all bombarding her. And so, Teresa, if you don't mind, because we should not pray amiss, and we need to pray specifically. And so, Miss T, if you don't mind, I will share with my two senior mothers, Sharon Cornelius and my mom, exactly what to pray for. Because we're going to believe that within a week's time, you're going to be home and the doctors are going to be baffled and they're going to wonder, and you get this. How can I'll text you, Miss Teresa, what I got to say. But we seriously believe that you got a cadre and a group of praying mothers and believers and maybe some non-believers that are saying, okay, Jesus, help me believe, help Miss Teresa. You got folks that are praying for you. So please take love, take courage in that. And to let me know. You handling them doctors well, but you let me know if I need to call a nursing station. Might have to make me some sort of healthcare proxy, but I clear out nursing stations when I walk in a unit. You don't play that. All right, I'm going in a whole different space. I'm getting off here. Have a great a great, safe Juneteenth. I also want to acknowledge Sister Vanya for her second Juneteenth celebration. She put a post. Now, the Juneteenth celebration on Eustis Street is still taking place, even with the heat wave. You make a decision for yourself, for your health, and what's better for you. But also, there's water there and there's shade. And so they are being very intentional over at the Shirley Eustis house. So make sure on Shirley, I don't remember what street it's on, but the Juneteenth event that Vanya is doing is still taking place. And so there will be water there. They are very cautious of the weather. Our seniors, you may not want to go out as early. Everybody, please do your best to stay hydrated. I'm going to check on my mother. My mother's probably staying in as she should under the AC. And I think that's really it for me. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Don't forget to go check out the Black Phrases show. And our sister Porsha Olayiwola is going to be there. They were amazing this morning. And it was very good to have them on. So this is what we do here in the Java Cafe. All right, I'm off of here, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.
What are you doing for Juneteenth? What you should do is join us for Historically Black Phrases Live. It's a trivia show based off the best-selling book by Jarrett and Tre'vell Anderson, and they'll be here in Boston on Wednesday, June 19th with the Emancipator and some special guests. Join us on Juneteenth at WBUR CitySpace for laughs, culture, and an overall good time. We'll have amazing guests such as Gullah scholar Sunn, influencer Claudiane Philippe, and Boston's Poet Laureate, Porsha Olayiwola. Get your tickets now